In this video, we're going to talk about adulthood. So developmental psychologists have added a new stage of development called emerging adulthood. So this stage runs from 18 to mid-20s, and I would say it's kind of fluid. So, we got to think about what defines an adult. Is it being self-supported? Is it having a career path? Is it being married? Is it having children? And obviously some of this has changed as the decades have passed. In America, you can vote at 18. You're legally considered an adult. Many of you may be actually taking care of yourself, working, paying rent, paying insurance, but many of you are not. Many of you might be living at home still and still getting help from your parents. So does that make you an adult? And that's why this emerging adulthood stage has been added. So let's just consider a few circumstances. So my nephew's 24. He graduated from college. He has a job that pays well and 2 cell-phone businesses. He has a vending machine business and a bouncy house business. He owns 2 cars and a van. He pays his own insurance. The caveat, he still lives at home. Now, he does make most of his own meals now, but that's relatively new. He does buy some of his own food, but he still relies a lot on mom and dad. Mom still does his laundry. So is he an adult? One of his brothers is 22, trying to finish up school at Sac State. He works out a lot, but he doesn't currently have a job. He lives at home and mom cooks his meals. Is he an adult? What about my daughter? She turned 18 in February. She has a job giving pitching lessons. Well, not anymore now that she's gone off to college. And she makes good money. She just went off to college. Is she an adult? So in America, the age at which we get married and have kids on average has gotten older. But this isn't always the case in other cultures. So even in different parts of the country and in different ethnicities, these social norms can differ. The idea is, that's where this idea of emerging adulthood has come about. And that's why I say it's a fluid number. It's not a strict age range like we see with some of the other stages of adulthood or stages of development. So while we don't have a lot of time to talk about development in adulthood, we know that obviously our skin starts to wrinkle, our muscle weakens, our hair gets gray. In addition, some of our cognitive abilities start to become diminished. However, most research suggests that older individuals can be quite emotionally satisfied despite having encountered a lot of losses, whether it's physically or personally. I did want to spend a few moments talking about the social emotional selectivity theory by Laura Carstensen. She's a researcher from Stanford, and she suggests that as we age, we see a more finite amount of time left, and we become more selective in our relationships and our activities and our interests. So we select more meaningful goals, activities, and people to associate with. Although many of you probably aren't to this stage yet, some of you may be if you're a working adult going back to school, but for those of you who are newer in school, maybe think about your parents and think, is this kind of, have they gotten to this stage yet? Are they being more selective in their relationships and endeavors? Thank you for listening.